Hey, howdy, hey, everybody.
Hey, everyone.
Welcome to the show.
What you don't see is us furiously trying to share it out.
I am still furiously trying to share us out. I'm always so far behind. It's when this happens, I can't spell, and I'm under pressure here. But I'm getting it. Welcome to the show tonight, Sam from Sam's Disney Diary.
What is up, guys? How
What's
are you?
going
Thanks for
on?
having me. This is awesome.
Yeah,
We're
thanks
great.
for joining us. We are excited to have you here tonight.
I thank you so much. I've been knee deep in my comic books, trying to get all the history of this Halcyon thing. 275 years that thing's been flying around, and it just finally landed in Orlando. It's crazy.
They managed to get it to Orlando just in time.
They did. Well, they didn't get the ship there. They got a spaceport so that we can beam up to it. But that's a whole nother story. I jump in too quickly.
That's okay.
To it. Wait a minute.
No, we know you get excited. It's great.
Yeah. I like
it.
Yeah. What and you had a long week, so you were traveling for work. So I really appreciate that after a long week of travel that you're here tonight with us. So thank you.
All good. Not a problem at all.
Cool.
It's fun. I love it. It's come on, guys. I got to go on the Halcyon. I got invited along with some other bloggers and media outlets and things like that. So, which was an interesting dynamic to the whole thing. But take a 2-day galactic adventure and compress it into 4 hours. So it's a 3.5 hour finale, but you have 2.5 minutes. I think that's what Kermit said.
Right.
I have to tell you, we were watching some of the videos and we were like, there's Sam. And we were so excited to see you there because I honestly can say if someone deserved to be hosted, it's you.
Yeah,
Thank you. I appreciate it. I am a big Star Wars fan, first and foremost, and you guys know that. We talked before about the timeline, where this thing fits. Womp Radio every once in a while. There's just so much going on, and it's amazing how this whole thing has come together. And I know some real cruises have happened, and people have gone on it, and there's some opinions, and I know it's a lot of money, and that all aside, it's so cool how they managed to take both Galaxy's Edge and this Galactic Starcruiser, and they were both designed and built at the same time to be completely interchangeable, to be one cohesive story. And it's cool as man. It really is.
See, I'm really glad you're here because I need you to talk me off the ledge.
Okay.
Because I saw the vlogs and went, oh, no, I'm out now.
Well, so here's the things. The blogs were all out of context. Every piece of it was out of context. And in fact, when they took this experience and they shrunk it down into this 4 hours and they staged or set up these different experiences and kind of gave you hey, so in this particular case, you chose to help the First Order, and we're going to do this. And imagine it's day 2 when you just got back from P2, and they had to stage everything. So I think what happened is a lot of people just, hey, here's the video. Check this out. This is the bridge. Check this out. This is the epic finale. But there's a lot of buildup that happens to that and things that go on, and it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So what we saw from a lot of the videos you're saying was maybe 4 hours jammed into what's supposed to be 2 days.
That's correct.
Okay, so that explains a lot. Yeah.
It does explain a lot because it's condensed.
We were like, I'm exhausted. Like we were watching and I'm like, oh my God, I need a break. I need to go eat, like have a drink, something.
It really seemed like overload, and now I know why.
Right.
You got it. And I see questions coming in. That's awesome. You guys are great.
And you know what? I think let's get our sponsor stuff out of the way with DVC Rental and D Magic World, and then so we can dive right into this fully without any interruption. So
from beginning to end, because Sam's excited.
Because we have questions, Sam has answers.
And we'll try to have answers.
Let me.
Want me to float the monorail?
Yeah, please. And I'm going to find the deal of the week. Let's see our DVC rental deal of the week for tonight. Oh, I didn't even look at it earlier. I actually just loaded it in.
Wow.
Saratoga Springs Resort Deluxe Studio Standard View from July 1st to July 7th. So that's 6 nights for $1,098. Am I? No, total cost. I'm sorry, $2,013, which is a savings over Disney of $1,098, but still 6 nights for $2,000.
That's a crazy deal. 4 people. That's 500 and some change each.
Right.
Yeah,
and
right.
room sleeps 4 people plus an infant. This is Saratoga Springs, which is right there next to Disney Springs, just a short walk over, or a little boat ride over if you want. Beautiful resort. There's a golf course on the resort as well. Let me get up our here we go. Scott at dvc-rental.com is the best way to get in touch with dvc-rental.com for this deal. That's Scott Ferrioli, our friend from DVC-Rental. They are all over social media, dvc-rental.com, as well as buy and sell dvc.com. I would suggest renting from them and trying out DVC, and then maybe looking at one of their available DVC contracts for sale. If you like it that much, we did that. We fell in love with DVC and purchased it. So again, it's a check-in of July 1st, 2022, checkout of July 7th, total number of 6 nights at Saratoga Springs Resort. This is a deluxe studio and a standard view. Room sleeps 4 people plus an infant for a total cost of $2,013.
This
so that
is a great deal, and it's over. Yeah. You'll be there for the 4th of July.
Right. This is a 4th of July stay.
And you know what? Yeah. I want to point out that Saratoga Springs, a lot of people sometimes snub their nose. We stayed at Saratoga, great resort, and their food is wonderful. It's a beautiful resort.
The Turf Club.
Yes, you have the Turf Club there, and I don't know how many people have gone to the Turf Club, but they have great food. Really good steaks and just a good American cuisine restaurant, and their quick service there was really good. Dave, remember they had a lot. Isn't there a spa at Saratoga too, or no?
A spa? Yeah, there is.
Spa.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to go, but there is a spa there as well.
Yep.
There's a pretty cool overlap here because the Flower and Garden Festival goes through the 4th of July. So you got that going on with that deal too.
Right. Yeah. So July 6th or something like that is the end date for
the 4th. 4th of July.
So it's right.
Which is the first time it ever went that far, which is really cool.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. So you get a couple days with this stay if you want to go to the Flower and Garden Festival.
Then you get the festival of no festivals for a week or so.
Right. Just 1 week until the next festival. Let's say hello. Let's say hello to our friends over at D Magic World. D Magic World, 24/7 streaming Disney magic. I love this station. I always tell you guys that. I hope that you do too. Let's say hello to the folks that listen to D Magic World, because on scheduled days, Thursday and Sundays, you get to hear little snippets of Disney Night Live, right? So you also choose what they play. So get in touch with them over there and tell them what you want to hear. Park music, attraction, ride music, attractions music, movie music, terrific stuff. dmagicworld.com. Hopefully, you guys are listening on D Magic World and you enjoy our show, and some of you can tune in live once in a while and check us out. Say hi in the chat. We'd love to hear from you.
Definitely. I heard us on Sunday, and it was like us set to Disney music. It was perfect.
Yeah, it really is. I'm always so surprised at how well we sound. Like, it just doesn't sound like we're doing a good job right now. And then you hear us on D Magic World. Yeah. We sound professional. Pretty cool.
You are professional. Come on.
Nice.
The illusion.
We try.
Give yourself some credit.
All right. I'm going to give myself a lot of credit.
There you go.
If you haven't done so already, if you guys can just please share us out. We are live. This is a live show. We're streaming live, and now that's Disney. We also
can they share? Mary, can you see if you can share?
So if you have trouble sharing, before you go into the live stream, when it's just on your screen where you see it, you can share from there. That's how I do it. If I click on the stream, then I can't share from in there, but you can before you click on it. But a little confusing stuff. But anyway, shares are much appreciated. Some likes, love, hearts. And also you can check us out on YouTube as well as Instagram. We're streaming live to YouTube as well right now. So awesome. Yeah, I know, right? Lisa, you should take it and tell them we sent you. because that helps us.
Yes.
Yeah, tell them now that's Disney sent you. Right. So
I have a quick question.
Oh,
yeah,
there you
go
go.
ahead. So I wanted
I
to
know
bring
that.
up the logo from Sam. Sam's channel is on YouTube, Sam's Disney Diary, and bless you. Was that a sneeze? I couldn't see. Sam's Disney Diary, and so we're going to talk about Starcruiser.
We're going to talk about Starcruiser or Star Wars in general, because I could talk Star Wars all day.
Right.
In fact, I got a couple of little thoughts about where this puts them, but let's talk about the Starcruiser, because it's, and by the way, hi, Lisa. Hi, Donald. That is the cruise port. That's concept art of the cruise port.
Right. Right.
And it's a terminal, right? You're arriving at a cruise terminal. Now, a couple of interesting things. There is, it's not on any GPS just yet. You got to look at it's on the new signs. Remember, everybody was talking about they changed the color of the signs at Disney World. They look different now. Yeah. Well, the signs they changed have Galactic Starcruiser to the right, and you kind of go around, and it's fortified quite a bit. You are not getting anywhere near this place unless you have a reservation. That's for sure. There's no coming and taking a look around. You're not going to get back there. It's behind Hollywood Studios, and I sort of like this because a few people had commented that, oh, there's no theming when you're moving up. You're looking at the back of studios, you're looking at the back of Galaxy's Edge. But if you think about it, that's not that different than going down to Port Canaveral and getting on a ship. You see all the infrastructure, you see them loading in the supplies, you see all that stuff going on, and then you board it. And once you board it, you walk into the atrium of the ship that you're on, and you're kind of in a different place. It's exactly, I think, the feel that Disney has here. So you're showing up, you're walking into something that looks like a concrete prison. To be honest, there's not a lot to see inside of it,
right?
But it is what it is. And once you get in there, your journey starts immediately.
Until cool. Right. So once you get in, this is is this how you enter into
that
it?
Is where you're entering. That is
your launch pod. Right?
Yeah. Okay. That's your launch pod. And if you look inside of it, you'll see at the very top there are 2 windows, and inside of those windows you're gonna see what's happening. And it's interesting the way they set it up, because as you walk into this, what you see are sort of the tops of trees on the left or the right. Right, they're the trees that would be in Florida, which I thought was kind of neat. Then when you take off, this thing kind of shoots up into the air. You can see that you're arriving towards the Halcyon, and what happens is these droid tugs kind of come out and smack onto you and move you into position within there, which is sort of cool the way that looks.
Yeah, little tug droids.
They're basically little tug droids. That's exactly right. And I have some B-roll in there I can share if you guys want to throw it in there. This is what Disney had originally provided.
Is that the screen that you have up that says your name?
Yeah, that's the screen. It's got my name on it. Yeah, if you click on that, I'll run the very beginning of this. So this is some B-roll that Disney had provided. And this is where you're arriving, right? It's like you're arriving right on the cruise terminal. You're going to head back into that port that you just talked about. And on the left and the right of this thing are where you're going to see where you're headed to. You see the trees, it lifts a little bit, and then boosh, you take off into light speed, and then all of a sudden you see the cruise ship. There is the Halcyon in the distance, and the tugs come out alongside you, and the next thing you know, you are arriving on the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser, or the Halcyon. And that's really where this whole journey begins, right? You're walking into the atrium.
That's the atrium, right? Okay.
This is the atrium that we're walking into, which is much like arriving. And when you walk in, you're going to see the droids. You're going to see Star Wars character, and everybody immediately, you are in the Star Wars universe. You're aboard the Halcyon, so it's pretty cool that the characters are there immediately. You're going to recognize them as Star Wars, but not know who they are. You'll have an opportunity to meet the captain. You can meet the lounge singers. You can meet other people on board here. And it's just really sort of interesting to get to know them. And the sooner you get to know them, know their names, know their story, they want to know your backstory. So they're going to ask you where you're from. And your answer is not going to be, oh, I'm from Pennsylvania, because they're going to go, where's that?
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to come up with a backstory, which I worked on one beforehand, and I'm bored. So you try to take the timeline, and I think it's important to remember here. And Skipper Jay, I'm going to ask you what your backstory is there in a minute, but it's important to understand one other thing too, and then I'll get back to the video. Just like Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, the Starcruiser and Galaxy's Edge were designed at the same time. 7 years in planning. And in fact, at Sam's Disney Diary right now, there is a video that is the media panel that they did the night before they took us on board.
Right.
And I wasn't allowed to video record it, but Disney allowed me to audio record. And I have some images that I took, and I got permission to release that. So it's the unedited, this is what we're trying to do. It's with Scott Trowbridge. It's with Ann Morrow Johnson. It's with all of the executives behind this. Doug Chang, who's from Lucasfilms, and Matt Martin, who's from Lucasfilms. These guys are so geeky. I love it. Right. But
yeah, and this is not, because I think a lot of people think when you think Star Wars, it's their Star Wars, like when I grew up or when we were younger. And this is today's Star Wars, right? This is, so like you said, you'll recognize the characters of Star Wars, but you might not know who they are.
Like that droid right there.
Right,
Who's
exactly. So he's very familiar.
Clearly an astromech.
Right.
Right. It's clearly from Star Wars, but who is it? Well, it's a droid that has a lot to do with what happens on the ship. And the droid may be asking you to do some things at some point, or the cruise director may ask you to go with the droid. But to your story, is it current Star Wars? That's an interesting question.
Right.
And I'll explain why in a minute, because it is Star Wars that is set along with Galaxy's Edge at the timeline between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. So that's episodes 8 and 9, exactly when Galaxy's Edge lives. So the Resistance is on the run. The Battle of Crate had just happened. It looks like they're losing. Kylo Ren's trying to track down the last remaining part of the Resistance and take care of them and wipe them out. Right? That's where we are in the movie, which is why when you go to Galaxy's Edge, half of it is the Resistance has come, or the First Order has come looking for the Resistance, Kylo Ren's ship, and the other half in the woods is where the Resistance has set up a base, and Rey's trying to recruit people. Right? It's the same storyline.
Right.
And
this is
It's all tied together.
It's kind of like the DLC for the game.
Yes. The entire thing's tied together. And in fact, I think we might have talked about this on here last time. The events that happen at Batuu, considered the Battle of Batuu, directly impact the storyline of those two movies, which is really cool, right? So if you remember, at the end of The Last Jedi, General Hux was in charge of the Star Destroyer, the finalizer, right? And then you fast forward to The Rise of Skywalker. Who's this General Pirate guy, and why is he in charge? Well, the answer is because Kylo was not happy with the results of the Battle of Batuu that he thought Hux butchered, so he demoted him and put the other guy in charge.
Right.
So the Battle of Batuu is canon, and it happens in the middle of those two movies.
Now, is that why
interesting when you put
why Hux decided to? He was a spy, right?
It's why Hux at the end decided, I just need Kylo Ren to lose, because he was mad because Kylo put him down, which is all because of what we did with the Rise of the Resistance attraction and helping them to take care of a Star Destroyer and become part of the Resistance.
So it's a full story. Yeah.
It's a really smart way to do it, because it puts you in the Star Wars movies without actually doing it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And now that's just the Rise of Resistance attraction, right? Now, if you take the Halcyon, the Starcruiser, the events that transpire on that attraction happen on the second day of your voyage aboard the Halcyon. It's all tied together, which is really cool.
Right, which is an interactive. This is an interactive, ongoing, like the whole time you're on there. I mean, this isn't really like I'm going to go and hang out on the Halcyon and relax. You're in the story. You're part of the story, and depending on, I guess, like you said, when you get on there and they ask you who you are, what your backstory is, and people are wearing costumes, right? So that ties into
absolutely encouraged cosplay. Absolutely encouraged. Look, when I talked to the Imagineers, they said, "Look, we are allowing you to play Star Wars for 2 days." Right. You can decide to play it any way you like. You can come on board and be like, "Oh, I'm all for the First Order. They're the greatest. They're making things good again." Or you could be going, "I'm with the Resistance. We got to get rid of these guys." Or you could just be looking to make some money smuggling some coaxium.
Or
ways you can take it.
If you're Kim, you'll be looking for Kylo Ren and maybe a date, or
you can take that angle too. Because right? when the First Order shows up, they will interact with you, and you could say, "Hey, have you seen Kylo? What's going on? Is he going to come on board?" It's all possible.
I really want to know what happens when you flirt with Kylo now.
Yeah.
So the way here's the Halcyon, which by the way has a 250-year history, right? Which the Star Wars Halcyon Legacy comic book covers kind of some of that, and that is not Chewbacca. That is a Wookiee from the Old Republic. But within it, you find some really cool things. In fact, one of the flashbacks that happens immediately in this comic, can't see me down there, that is Anakin Skywalker fighting Asajj Ventress with Padme looking on inside the Starcruiser, who make a whole bunch of marks on the wall that you can find on the Starcruiser. So
wow.
they created a pretty cool backstory.
Well, yeah, so if you want to dive into this, the story's there for you to really just to live. Lisa is asking, how much participation is expected, or do you have to? Do you not have to?
That's a great question, and you do not have to. I will say the more that you participate, the more rewarding the experience is. Right. The cast members on this Starcruiser are absolutely phenomenal. They are in character the whole time. They never break character. There are new ones that you're going to meet. You're going to meet an intergalactic superstar. Gala is her name, and her manager that's always with her. Gala, like Gaga, right? There's ties everywhere, right? Skipper J, that's what they do. It's like Gaga, but not. But she's the galactic superstar, and her manager's always close by. And if you get to know them and talk to them, you might learn that her manager's up to some little smuggling things on the side. He's not just her manager, right? And now along the same lines, you meet the cruise director, and the cruise director, ask her some questions, show off some things, and you may meet somebody that's is learning the ways of the Force and is doing some things with lightsaber training, and might invite you to experience some of that, which is kind of cool. And you can go all different ways with this thing. That's what's so cool about it. It is living your own adventure, your story.
Wow.
So we're in my Star Wars room. Am I going to get there and find myself just throwing myself into it without realizing it?
I did. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And I was only there for this brief little media event, and I was already in it.
Does
right?
it just like pull you in whether you want to or not?
It pulls you in, and they do their best, right? You can go and hang out in the bar area, in the lounge. I'm going to let this play through just to give us some thoughts here. But you can hang out in the bar, right? This is the captain in the center, or the cruise director's there on the left. This is the toast that starts the whole thing out. And clearly they're from the Star Wars universe, but you don't know who they are. This is the Crown of Corellia dining room. This is where all your meals are going to be. It's also where the stage show happens. It's also where some story elements come together. You can see some of the food being delivered, which is really cool.
The food looked good in the vlogs.
It is good.
And I wanted to show your video when, in a little bit.
Absolutely, we can.
Yeah, the food was
that's Gala in the distance there.
Right.
The food was good, but we didn't have enough time to eat it all, and I'll explain why in a second. But you can tell in some of these videos there are people in costume. It's cool to watch this, to become part of it. You get sucked into it. There's a lot going on with the characters, all very familiar from the Star Wars universe. And here's some more of the food coming out. Or you can just, you can go to the bar, and even in the bar, you're going to get approached in the middle. So what's your story? What are you up to? Can you do something for me? Can you do something for me? Can you go take care of this? Or can you take care of that? And
you're smoggling spice or something.
They don't talk about spice. They talk about coaxium a lot.
Coaxium,
fuel rods and energies. Yeah, I didn't hear anybody talk about spice. But that brings up another interesting point there, Dave, because we talked about where are you in the Star Wars universe? You're in that period of time between Episode 8 and Episode 9, right? A very specific point in time.
Right.
When you say, what is Star Wars now? Is Star Wars today between Episode 8 and Episode 9? Or is Star Wars today the same time frame as The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett?
Right.
Which is 20 years before this stuff happened. Which is an interesting question, right? And it's a whole nother can of worms on Disney didn't want to put themselves in the Death Star location. Remember, early rumors were this is going to be on the Death Star. but it's not. It's in a different point in time. Should it anyway? It happens before we know.
Hey, Nick.
Well, 20 years after Book of Boba Fett.
So yeah, and I had a.
So there's a possibility Baby Grogu could still be in there somewhere.
There's absolutely a possibility. This would be 30 years after the Book of Boba Fett.
If Grogu
70 years old
shows up on the Starcruiser,
He's not.
Oh,
people won't leave.
I would love to see him show up in Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah,
I'd love to see him show up in Galaxy's Edge, to be honest with you. I don't think he needs to be on the Starcruiser. But he fits a timeline. That's the thing.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah. So
Boba Fett might be. Who knows? This is the lounge, which, by the way, to me felt a little bit bigger than Oga's Cantina, which was surprising.
I had a quote. So my brother asks a question here. You have to stay there to dine, and Mary said, "Yeah." So it's an all-inclusive, right?
Yes, absolutely. This is an all-inclusive. Everything's included. Even when you do your excursion to Batuu, they give you credits. Here's inside one of the rooms. They give you a credit so that you can dine within Galaxy's Edge. You can go to Docking Bay 7 or
that's what I wanted to know. Right. So when you're not on the Halcyon and they take you to the Batuu, and how long are they taking you to Batuu for? Like, what's your time limit there?
So I did not get to experience that movement to Batuu because you take another. So part of this voyage in the history of the Halcyon, it's 275 years old. It was recently taken over by the Chandelier Cruise Lines. They revamped it to its original glory, which is why it looks so pristine. And they're redoing their inaugural voyage. They're going on the same voyage again, which ends at Batuu.
Right.
So they're visiting Batuu. When you leave and depart, you get on your shuttle, which takes you down to the land, and you have some missions that you should carry out on Batuu. Maybe you have some missions if you were asking about them throughout the beginning of your journey, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
And that carries over to Batuu, and then that carries back over to the Halcyon?
Absolutely carries back. And some of those missions are go help Rey, which leads you to go to the Rise of the Resistance attraction. You do get a lightning lane for both it and for Smuggler's Run.
Okay. Yeah.
So you get to, and there's the bridge, by the way. We'll talk about that in a second. That's
really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It's, you are battling. They start you out just with some test targets that you're shooting at. Sort of reminds me of some of the things they've done in the exit of Mission Space, for example. Very similar. But then it gets really intense very quickly. You might find Chewbacca running around, and these guys are on a secret mission to go and try to sabotage something that the First Order's up to. And in part of some of the storylines, Chewbacca gets captured, but you only know about this if you talk to somebody that says, "Hey," or you go up to one of the crew members and say, "Hey, I'm interested in helping the Resistance. What's going on?" And they may pull you aside and say, "Look, we're trying to smuggle Chewbacca on board because of X, Y, and Z. And you can help in that mission to get Chewbacca to get what he needs to get back off the ship." So it's kind of cool the way that the whole thing.
A chance to rescue Chewbacca, I'm in.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one of the storylines that you're going to see.
My whole life to do that.
Lisa wants to know if you can get lost wandering around, or are you constantly guided?
You are free to explore. In fact, they will tell you can see that the First Order said they would tell you to look into some of the doors. Now, maybe a little bit it's not a spoiler at this point because everybody's looked it up, but yeah, there is Kylo Ren. He ends up on the ship. There is an emergency on board, and then all of a sudden Rey shows up to try to save the day with that saber that extends. That's the only time you saw it when she turned it on. You didn't get to use it. It wasn't part of lightsaber training, but then there's a battle that happens here.
So she's got to swap that out at some point.
At some point, and you can see in a lot of the videos from the media event where she sets it down and picks up a different one.
Right.
I would say that they're probably going to make it a little smoother than that in the future. But that's some of the B-roll.
I honestly thought she just tripped when I saw that.
Yeah, yes, and it felt Skipper J like there could have been some choreography there where Kylo takes a swing at her and she has to bend down and you know what I mean. They could have done it that way, but all right, I want to.
They'll smooth that out as they go.
Sure, they will.
Yeah,
absolutely. They will. So I want to back up a couple of things here because we just talked about everything, but let's condense it down. during the first day, after you go through your muster, just like you would on a regular cruise ship, you go, where's your emergency stations? You go to dinner. And while the captain is doing her toast, welcome aboard the Halcyon, you're interrupted by the first order who boards, along with the lieutenant. And the lieutenant basically says, there's been some really interesting activity that we've noticed. Every port of call that the Halcyon goes to, there's then a small resistance cluster that comes up. And it feels like there's something fishy going on where you guys are harboring resistance spies or resistance whatever, and you're taking them to all these ports of call. So they're going to board the ship and monitor all of the activities happening. Go about your business, but we're here. And that's how they introduce the stormtroopers into walking around. And the lieutenant, we don't see Kylo Ren. We see the lieutenant, and they question everybody. And if you go up to those guys and say, hey, I want to help you. I have first order. I forget the chant that they do, but you can support the first order. You can help those guys.
Yeah,
you can help them sabotage the ship. It's absolutely your decision.
Wow.
How could
or you can pretend like you're helping the first order and then double cross them and go and tell the resistance everything they told you. Which is kind of
I want to find out. I might just spend the money to find out why Chewbacca's stealing a space radio.
That is what it looks like.
It really does. Looks like he's trying to. So that what's yeah, I want to be part of that story.
Just that Radio Shack boombox look.
Were there kids on it when you were on it? Probably not, right?
So no, because I was with media, there were not.
Right.
But I could see how you absolutely could do this with kids.
With kids, yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious.
They're just going to follow their own path. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the rooms really quick. What did you? Because a lot of people are saying, "Oh, they're small," but then
they are.
They're small. But Mary brought up we were chatting in our admin group last night. Mary brought up a great comment that it's supposed to be like a cruise, and cruise rooms are small, right? So
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's exactly right. It's modeled after a ship. So you don't compare that to the Polynesian. Don't compare that to Saratoga that you guys were talking about before. Compare it to a cabin on the Wish. Compare it to a cabin on the Wonder. That's what it looks like. But I'm also going to say, based on this 48-hour adventure that you're going to go on, you're not going to spend a lot of time in your room. You're not. You're not boarding this to go on to hang out at the bar or to hang out in your room. You're going on this to play Star Wars for 2 days.
Right.
So if there were a graph, which I'm kind of thinking of building in my mind here, if you are this absolutely amazing, you love Star Wars, you're into it, you want to play it, you want to cosplay, you're going to love this experience. If you're looking to hang out at the bar on a cruise ship for a while, go on the Wish. You're going to be much better suited for 7 days on the Wish instead of 2 nights here.
Right. There's no pool on the Halcyon. I mean,
there's no pool.
Right.
There's no bus to Epcot. There's no bus to Magic Kingdom. You're not there to do those things. This is your add-on 2 days in a Walt Disney World vacation. Assuming, let's say money's not an object, right? If money's not an object, I'm going to go to the Starcruiser for 2 days, and I'm going to leave and go to the Polynesian in a bungalow for the next 5 days, and that's my week, right? 2 days there and 5 there. But this is completely immersive. That's a hell of a week, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's my perfect week.
And it's only 2 days. I mean, first I was thinking, I would have liked it if there was some options to leave or go somewhere else, but it's only 2 days. So, that's going to go by really fast. If you get involved in it, enjoy it, and go there for the point of it, like Sam said, it's not the Polynesian. You're not there to sit at the
You're
pool
not there for
walk around with a pineapple. Sorry, Don Nicholson.
Walk around with
pineapple drinks. I mean,
you can walk around with a Hoth icebreaker, which is pretty darn good. So
I did see those; they did look good.
No space pineapples.
I did not see space pineapple.
Hey Sam, let me ask you, because we were watching, we were wondering, okay, do we go as a couple, or do we wait until our nephews are a little older and wait and take them?
That's a great question. I don't know where things go from here. I think it's a very interesting point that Disney has, because look, the least expensive room is $5,000.
Right.
That's a lot of money. You can do a lot of things with $5,000. You know, that's 14 days at an All-Star, right? That's well, you just showed 2,000 was 7 days at Saratoga.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's for 4 people. I'm talking 5,000 for a person. Although I did see there's DVC cruises setting sail on the Halcyon coming up. I don't know how many points it's going to be, but I thought that was interesting. I'm a DVC member and I got the email.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I just got it recently, like earlier today. It's a lot of money. Let's be honest. It's a niche. What's this going to look like in a year? Are we going to see discounted specials? Is this the initial people want to do this? I don't know how it's going to go just yet. And I think we got some time to figure that out.
So yeah, another good question by Mary. And this was one I wanted to ask you. So if you weren't invited to a media event and you really wanted to do this, do you think this is something you would do out of your own pocket?
So it's an interesting question. And here's how I'm going to answer it. If it's just me, maybe.
Okay.
But I don't think I'm doing it just me. I'm doing it with my family. Right.
Right.
And for that price, I think we're going to go on a Mediterranean cruise and not go on 2 days on a Halcyon.
So this
is think about that for a second. That's really what we're comparing this to.
It's $5,000 per person, not just for like a couple. This is per person. Right. So I was thinking it was $5,000 for 2 people in that room. So you're paying 5 G's for one person, and the room sleeps 4 or 5.
Yes, and if you go to the GalacticStarCruiser.com, you'll see the breakdown for kids and things. Okay. But $5,000, it's a lot of money. That's the way you got to look at it. The experience is just amazing, and what you go through from a Star Wars point of view. It's so going back to that storyline and kind of tying it together. So if I went on R2. Right, you should.
R2. They'll follow me with pineapples.
Is there a breakdown in the price after one person? Like, so if you have a family of 4 and you are seriously considering 4 people going, it's going to be $20,000. Or it
was a little less than that.
Yeah, so it's about 4,800 per person or something. Or I mean, we're rounding it up, but this isn't like a big goal where you start to save money when you buy the bigger size.
Well, because as much as I want to do it at that price point, it's a one and done. I'll do it one time, and I'll throw myself into it, and then I'll be done.
I mean, that's 15 G's for me, Kim, and Colton, and I don't. Yeah, could do a lot of things with $15,000.
Sam, were you there overnight, or was your
no? This was 4 hours.
4 hours.
So this is right now. I'm looking at this is just DisneyWorld.com. This is where it is. But if you look at this is your per guest per night. So this is your per night, 2 cabins, 3 guests, $889 per night, or so that's how it breaks down.
Okay.
For that particular date.
Wow.
So your voyage ticket $5,999 and that's
okay.
It's a lot of money. Let's put it that way, right?
Yeah.
What
does not include alcohol, by the way.
Does not include alcohol.
Does not include alcohol.
Oh wow! See, when you say all inclusive, I'm thinking
it does not include alcohol. Alcohol is additional.
So that's just food and room. And are you getting anything like a complimentary lightsaber, or is there anything that? Okay, so I know there were some things.
You get the ability to access the store to buy exclusive merchandise.
Yeah, right.
Do I at least get a magic band?
There were magic bands in the store. I'm not sure if you get one when you book the voyage or not.
Right. Yeah. Oh my
God! But it's included. You get Lightning Lane for.
You get Lightning Lane for those 2 attractions, but that's also part of the journey, right? Yeah. So if during the setup or during your cruise when you're asking questions, you're going to get these different little missions to go on. And as I said before, some of them are for the First Order. For example, you need to go to Batuu on your pod, by the way, that's going to take you there. And you've probably seen people share on social media. Oh, it's a box truck. That's all they're putting there. Yeah. No, you're inside a themed room with things happening around you. You have no idea you're in a box truck. And by the way, when I asked a couple of the Imagineers about it, I asked them what the most surprising thing about this experience was. And what they told me was arriving at Batuu via the Star Shuttle is amazing because you never break theme. because you went up into the Starcruiser and you come down into what is docking bay 3, right next to Kylo Ren's ship on the left-hand side, the part that was just covered with things forever. It was there the whole time, right? You walk out right into Star Wars. You never broke theme. You experienced the Galaxy's Edge in a new way because you didn't have to walk through Grand Avenue or Toy Story Land to get to it. You walked right into Star Wars, and then you walk back out and you go back up to the Halcyon. And for some of those voyages, you have to get a physical thing to take back. In fact, there are data tapes that you have to get for some of these missions that look exactly like the tape that Jalen Urso is running around with on Rogue One with the plans of the Death Star. It's just so cool the way it all ties together.
So if you want to be immersed, this is the thing for you.
Well, it is. If you may talk to the lightsaber trainer, and she's interested in Jedi relics, and she may send you to Batuu on a special mission to find some relics and do some things. And by the way, all of that voyage that you have down to Batuu to collect these different things, based on the people you talk to, you come then back to Batuu. That's the night where you're finishing your missions, you're taking the things back. Then that galactic finale when Kylo shows up. Well, he shows up because someone blew up a Star Destroyer, which you did. And if you wrote it, he knows that you wrote The Rise of Resistance. And he's going, you were responsible for taking down my Star Destroyer. What is going on? And that's how that galactic battle starts. And he's about to take everybody out on the ship, right? Nobody's going to survive. Stormtroopers come around, and that's when Rey shows up and the whole. So it all ties together. I love it.
So this is a little more doable if it's 4809 for 2 people for 2 nights, right? Yeah. So that's right.
There you go.
Yeah,
it's lifelong wish fulfillment. I mean, this is. It
is.
I was 4 when Empire came out, so I mean, I grew up. Star Wars was everything. So to get to come back at this point in my life and actually do the stuff I did as a little kid, play those little games and do it.
I was there, and I understand.
Sam, do you want me to pull that video back up? Or
I have a couple other things I was looking for here. Give me just a second.
Go ahead.
I should have some things ready, but of course,
That's right. I was going to show the food video from your YouTube blog.
Yeah, you can do that if you like it. That was part of the media event after the fact.
Yeah, let's see, because everyone loves to talk about food. Let me share my screen.
So 3 people, $5,300. Still a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I get where you guys are coming from. If you're a Star Wars fan, you're going to love this. You're absolutely going to love it. Hey, look at that. I know that logo.
Here it comes. There he is.
Diary, Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser, hanging out with Chef Bobby, talking about some of the food, beverage offerings, well, just the food offerings that we have on the Starcruiser. Tell me what we have here, Bobby.
So first of all, welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm really excited to showcase some of the menu offerings that we have at the Starcruiser. Starting over here, this is some of the breakfast offerings. Kind of like buffet style, okay? Build your own entrees. Everything's individually plated, if you will. Here, for example, we have a wonderful kale polenta, roasted mushrooms, sausage gravy, and what we call egg worms.
Egg worms, okay? I've heard that.
Yeah. This right here, Hunters, 100% plant-based. If I didn't tell you that, you wouldn't even know. It's so delicious.
I love it.
Promise that. We have our Starcruiser waffle over here with roasted pork sausage and rolled egg omelet. Another classic. One of my favorites off the top, our potato roasty, sous vide egg bite, and a rolled candy bacon.
I want that.
Rolled candy bacon. You got some of my favorite words in that sentence.
All in one bite right there.
That's pretty darn good. And by the way, I love the plating. I think that's so cool. Just some of the designs that went into that.
Yeah, that looks good.
Right?
I like how it all looks like space food.
Right?
Yeah.
Colors.
I want that
was their goal.
So when you get up to
That was the goal, to make it look like space food. And by the way, interesting, it's a buffet, but the food's already plated for you, so you pick it off.
I love it.
In those little containers.
For example, we have Bantha Blue milk. So, of course, we're going to have Bantha Blue butter for a pastry platter, right?
Sure. These are all pastries here. I love this.
Right. And if you have blue milk, blue butter, of course, you're going to have blue yogurt.
Of course.
So we have a little parfait with blue Bantha butter,
looks good.
fresh berries, and granola in there for some texture. Yeah, wow, this is just some of our breakfast offerings.
These are breakfast. What's the one in the center of the plate?
This is. Have you ever seen deviled egg?
Yeah,
that's a space deviled egg right there.
I love it.
So a little egg white bed.
I'm looking at Kim's face.
I want eggs, and I'm like, how'd they do that? What is that?
Yeah,
I want that deviled egg
right?
so bad.
I want it too. I want to try it really bad.
A hot dog. Okay. So we have purple focaccia dough, fresh. Baked fresh inside the Halcyon, some tomato jam and some ahi and mayo sauce.
Love it. All right, and now this is moving on to lunch.
This is some of our lunch offerings.
I want those ribs.
Every single day, breakfast and lunch are different.
Bantha.
Okay, so
they look good.
Experience different days. Over here we have what we call our caprese salads. This is our take on burrata cheese, tomatoes. We have olive oil powder and some balsamic pearls that we make in house for that. Okay. We have our fresh flatbreads. Again, we make those in house. We have a huge pizza oven in the back, so we're constantly making dough, constantly baking it.
Nick, you don't want the deviled egg. You hate them.
Ribs glazed, fall off the bone. We have kimchi slaw underneath.
Kimchi slaw must be spicy.
That flatbread looks good.
I have nothing to say because I'm watching and listening.
Kale, really, really delicious.
Fish looks good.
Dessert. We have our famous yogurt fruit dessert and our galactic brownie.
I want that.
Brownie, I love that. That looks great.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, very small, a fraction of what we have to offer for
quite the selection there, though. All right, moving on here. What do we have
this
here?
is our dinner night one. We call dinner night one. So this is a family.
So I think Animal Kingdom when I think those things on the bottom.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Kim, one of those pods has tip-yip chicken stuck in it.
No, it does not.
Yes, it's a pod with chicken in it.
That's right.
2 days of tip-yip chicken, I'd be happy. My favorite.
And a vegetable floor salad. So the idea is that this comes to the table, you open the box up, and everybody have a little bite and have a different experience, different flavors, different combinations.
Sure, family style. I love it.
Ooh,
and then
look
for
at that.
For night one, again, a bounty.
Wait, that's just the start.
This is just the start.
That's just the start.
This
Okay, now we're going to move on to...
These are the main events. These are the entrees over here. So we, again, make your own experience. These bowls come to the table. Your family, you pick what you want. We have a bourbon chicken. We have a roasted flora. We have our herb infused green rice. And we have a wonderful shrimp with lobster curry sauce.
Love it.
Okay? But the star of the show will be
Right
our
there.
Bantha fillets.
Yes.
Okay?
Bantha fillets.
They look good.
That's awesome. Love it.
One of my favorites. And to end the meal, we have a wonderful dessert over here. Absolutely beautiful. A lot of textures, bright colors. We have our fruit whip mousse that we call. Okay, that's the purple one. Sitting next to it, we have our chocolate caramel mousse, matcha rocks, shiso gelée, and some passion fruit curd.
I'm on my pre-Disney diet. This is killing me.
And that's just starting because we haven't gotten...
So I want to talk to you about the food.
Yeah.
So, and you said it. You're not the only person I heard say this. You didn't get a lot of time to eat, so they had all that food there, right? And
well, that was, we had a portion of that food. We didn't have all of that. They served us a smaller plate with some samples of things. And here's what happened. And it's sort of interesting because when you're in a room full of bloggers, they serve you your food. And then everybody wants to get out their cameras because the entertainment starts to sing and Gala's singing. So we're all taking pictures of Gala and everybody's in each other's pictures. That's how you guys saw me and some of them.
Right.
And we're taking all the video. And at that point in time, what we should have been doing is eating and not taking video, because part of the finale of the experience is an interruption in, the alarms go off and you need to get to your muster station because there's going to be an evacuation. Something bad's about to happen. Everybody back to the atrium. And that's when, the ship's been boarded. That's when Kylo Ren ends up making his appearance. So they cut the dinner short is what they do. They cut that experience short. But what are you going to do?
None of you ate. So basically, none of you ate.
Yes, I didn't eat enough.
Come between me and food. I would just sit there like, and
well, right. So they cut media short. You better not be cutting if I paid full price.
Well, and that's a great question because they cut media short. They cut us short. I don't know that they would do that for others. I don't think
Right.
that they would, but
Probably
I'm
not.
not 100% sure.
If I'm in the middle of my steak and you're like, Kylo Ren's here, I'm like, okay, cool.
Hey, yeah, whatever,
Yeah.
Kylo. I'm eating.
Bring it,
I get it.
Kylo.
I
I'm
get it.
hungry.
But
Yeah.
you
You
can
know
see
what?
where the story was going.
Right.
I wish that they would just let people go to the restaurant so bad, like, you know, because if we can't afford the $5,000, I would just love to eat there.
Yeah.
The food looks really good and fun.
Oh, yeah.
You know what
It
I
does,
mean?
and that's a great
Restaurant.
point.
Yeah, but they don't. So
So
forget it.
maybe when the excursion to Batu is and the Halcyon's empty, they can bring in like a crew for like an hour and a half to have a
It's
special meal.
super interesting that you mentioned that, Dave, because I've heard rumblings that they're considering something like that.
Right, like a real quick visit to.
Yeah.
If you have an empty boat, everybody's
Yeah.
gone on their missions. Why can't you have people come up and buy one of the drinks in the bar or whatever? I
Right.
mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but there's been some speculation.
You know, I would pay to go in for 90 minutes or 2 hours to get a look around, have a bite, have a drink.
Yeah,
Like you
give
said,
us a little. Give us the cheap version. Give us what
But
we.
but I want to go. I want to go in the shuttle boxcar.
Yeah.
You want to be like.
Well, that's the
us
only
in
way
a
I think you could get
boxcar,
there.
right?
That's the only way you could get to it from. That's the only way you could get to it.
Did you try the blue shrimp?
They did not have the blue shrimp.
Oh.
In fact, there, that image right there is what they served us. The thing here on the left-hand side. So there's little samples of everything. There wasn't a lot on it. This was one of the bantha fillets, which was phenomenal.
Wow.
We did have one of the drinks, and it went so fast that I wasn't able to take any silverware or the menu. So. Which is something that's typically on all of our lists, right?
Yeah, I heard who Paging Mr. Morrow said that he's like, this is going in my purse. This is going in my purse.
Yeah, and it didn't happen along those lines. I'm sorry for that there.
That's all right.
It did not happen that way. I have more stuff. I just.
Oh, sorry. I think
No. You're fine. I'm between. Give me a second here. I'm going to see.
No problem. Yeah, I did see.
We need the Gilligan's Island version of this. A 3 hour.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I feel like I had there for a second. That's indeed what I felt like I had, because it was so quick. Where did my arc? Oh, there's my photos. My apologies.
Now, is the store just exclusive merchandise to the Halcyon?
The store is nothing but exclusive merchandise to the Halcyon. Yes, that's all it is. And lightsabers, cosplay things to wear that are amazing. There's another video up on Sam's Easy Diary that's nothing but that merch.
Yes, right. There's a whole. So after the food, Sam interviews the drink guy.
The drink guy, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's also a merch video, and there's a lot of stuff that Sam pulled from the media event. The lightsabers that they sell in the merch store, are they just something that you could get on Batu? Are these exclusive to Halcyon?
No, this is an exclusive hilt for the Halcyon. It's absolutely only available there. It is a Jedi training hilt. Comes in a special custom box with the Halcyon logo, and they even have all of the letters in Arabic, so you can put your initials on these things, which is kind of cool. They also have a shield, which was really interesting that you could purchase. Part of the lightsaber training. I was trying to mute this so I wasn't listening to it while you guys are seeing it. So let's talk about lightsaber training for a second.
Yeah, I'll pull this up.
Sure. Well, this is the actually, I'm going to stop this and then share again with audio, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So let me stop my share, and I'm going to do it one more time because it did not click to save share audio. But this is in the main dining room. This is Gala's that's Gala's manager who is introducing her.
She's filled concert halls. And today, I promise you, she is going to fill this room. Travelers, friends, Gaia.
There is your galactic superstar waiting for her applause.
And she's singing all original music, right? This is
all original music, things we've never seen before.
What a spectacular welcome. I'm thrilled to be here with you on board the Halcyon. And I must say,
The microphone's great too.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Do you feel
So there you can kind of see all the other, everybody's got their phones up. I hope that's not the case if this was a real cruise, right?
it?
Right.
It's happening. It's hypnotic. It's me. Woo! Now, Sandra, this first song is one of your favorites. Can you tell us what it's about?
Coaxium.
Short and sweet, yes, but what is coaxium? Who can tell the class? Energy? Fuel, yes. Coaxium is fuel, but it is so much more.
So you get a
It's
feel
more
for,
than
I'll
just-
skip ahead
Yeah.
here. And apologies for the bouncing. That is a raw video.
It's okay.
Lady in the night, everywhere I shine, the temple of the cosmic spectrum. I'm lady of your dreams, and every fantasy, the temple of imagination. Reaching of the sun, rising everywhere, the temple of intoxication.
So that's a good example of the singing that happens. Let me see if I can find out. I'm going to look for a lightsaber video if that's okay.
Sure.
But the lightsaber training was kind of interesting, and I'll tell you why. If you want to take that down for 1 second while I do that.
I'm going to remove that.
So cool, though. The singer, that's pretty neat, right?
Yeah. And now, so I made a post the other day, and now that's Disney, because this all kind of reminds me of the Adventurers Club. Is this like
you're
Star
not
Wars
the first person to say that
version of Adventurers Club, right?
You are clearly not the first person that mentioned that, because I've heard that from many people. And there is a little bit of that here. Yes, there is. There's a little bit of that going on here.
I wonder if Disney had that in mind, because so many people always talk about missing the Adventurers Club and bringing something like that back. And here you are with a Star Wars version, but it is that kind of vibe to it.
Dave, we need to pitch them an Adventurers Club hotel, 48 hours in the Adventurers Club.
Yes, exactly. Drinks included in that one.
Drinks included.
Yeah.
Drinks included, 48 hours in the Adventurers Club. That is, that's kind of interesting to see how that could turn around.
Yellow Shoes, if you're listening, credit us.
Becky, there was a baby on board with a couple, and they weren't vlogging, but they were in a lot of the vlogs. Now the baby,
they were. They were. Yeah, they were very near, and you heard the baby in there a little bit. So there was definitely a stroller on board. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. He was really cute. And I saw him a lot of vlogs, but they weren't vlogging, but they were interacting and stuff.
Yes. So the lightsaber training is interesting. I don't have a video handy. I don't know if you have one, because this is the thing that got a lot of bad feedback early on, right? Remember the video Disney released and people went against it. It's actually pretty cool. But like everything they do on the Halcyon, they start you off slow. So they start you off very slow to get you accustomed to doing lightsaber training, or get you accustomed to working on the bridge. Right? Because on the bridge, you're gonna shoot at targets, and you got to figure out how to do it. And you work with the person next to you, a lot like I mentioned earlier, Mission Space. If you remember the end of Mission Space when it came out, there was that big screen with you'd be shooting things. So very similar. I'd be standing with a friend. I would be firing the buttons, and they're moving things up and down to hit these targets. Well, as the mission progresses, those little targets get faster. And they get faster. And then during the adventure at one point, you're rushed into the bridge because guess what? The First Order's attacking us, and you got to take down the TIE fighters. So now all of a sudden, they're not targets, they're TIE fighters, and you're trying to chase the TIE fighters around and shooting it. And when you see that, it's super cool. But Disney couldn't jump you right into that ending because they had to build you up to it. They had to get you accustomed to the controls. Same thing's true with lightsaber training. They start you out slow. So if you were to look at the first video, it's very slow, very rudimentary. Here's how you hold it. Here's how you target. And because of that, it doesn't look very fun. But you're just getting the feel for it. You're learning how to do it. Then it gets a little bit faster. And then you get to the point where, these things that are shooting, every once in a while, somebody misses one, and it goes and it could hit the person standing behind them. So let's give all these other people shields so that now you have not only the person with the lightsaber, but two people behind them on their right and on their left that are also at the same time interacting. So you get 4 plus 4 plus 4. That's 12 people all doing things at the same time. And it gets kind of cool.
Yeah, the more people do, the more you get into it.
Absolutely. And then while you're doing this, you're getting good at it. And oh, wait a minute, I feel something strange. And there's Yoda's voice comes through the room, and he starts communicating with the lightsaber trainer. And he's basically telling the trainer, you can't train these people with fake things. It's got to be real lasers. We don't train Jedi with, props. And the lightsaber trainer goes, he's absolutely right. We need to use real lasers. We're going to use real fire this time. And we're not going to give you that guide, that stream, that blue thing. Instead, we're going to use the Force. So what you want to do is look at your target. And then they have these little things that kind of light up around it. And that's where the next beam comes from. And now you're doing things with real lasers. And so that ending part looks really cool, and that's fun, and that's the video some people have seen and go, wow, that's nothing like what they showed us with that guy before, because he was doing the very entry-level training thing.
They should have showed the end of stuff in the videos.
Well, what they needed was 12 people doing it, not one, because Skipper Jay, that's the cool part of it. Right, you got 12 people all swing, and then they sell those shields later. So apparently, now somewhere in the Star Wars universe, when this is new, Kim, is where's this shield come from? I didn't know there was a laser shield. Right. Although we did see one of Mandalorian, right? Didn't Ty Bigfly hit his thing and it went on that shield? So I'm like, okay, it all ties together.
So then you could buy the shield. Is that what you
could buy the shield too? Yeah.
Did you buy one? What did you come home with? Sam, anything?
Well, no opportunity to purchase.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No opportunity to purchase, only to look at it. In fact, I couldn't even get into the store. They had a rope across it, and you can take what you wanted. But the store was mostly, it was the lightsaber. There were droids. There were models of the Halcyon that I thought were really cool.
Yeah.
So, if you go on a real ship, you buy the boat and you bring it back and remind yourself there's models of the Halcyon. And there were quite a few. You could get the Twi'lek hat. And they also had a hat that looked like a Ahsoka,
right?
Which was kind of cool.
Yeah, of course.
And you could cosplay with those.
And you were saying earlier, I'm sorry, that you would be sent to maybe Batu to find something. So that was in Galaxy's Edge. Like there's things hidden.
There are things in Galaxy's Edge that have been there all along that we had no idea. Yes, that's what I'm saying, because these were both designed together. So you need to go to Galaxy's Edge on a mission. And now what I've heard from some others that have done the play testing or been on the first voyage, which is back, they're giving you special credentials so that when you get on Galaxy's Edge, the cast members there are going to play right along like, oh, you're from the Halcyon.
They know who you are.
Here's what's happening. And here's what you need to do. Here's who you need to talk to. And then you talk to that person. They will give you a physical disc. Right, it looks like what Jalen Urso had, like a big 8-track tape with a handle is what it looks like. And you take that back up, and one of the adventures I was able to do on the Halcyon was, okay, you chose to be with the First Order. The First Order has dispatched you to Batu. You've come back with a data card. Now we're going to use the data cards that the 10 of you have found, because there's 10 of these things. We're going to go to different places in the ship to put these data cards in, which is going to sabotage the ship so it can't jump to light speed. Because what the First Order has realized is the Halcyon comes in, they drop people off, they look like they're doing, and then they take off at the end of it. So they wanted to sabotage it. So if they tried to jump, they couldn't. One of the plot points, right?
So something Galaxy's Edge is a totally different experience once you do the Halcyon.
It's got to be.
Yep.
It's just coming in. Not going to it through Toy Story Land.
Yeah.
Right. Going to it.
I feel like Jay and David, don't you guys feel like when we were talking about it last week and we were just starting to watch the videos and we were kind of like, oh, it looks like, Star Wars theater. Like now, do you feel like now I'm like, I want to go so bad. Right?
I would like to.
Yeah. Jay, do you is your mind changed a little bit?
That's why I want to talk to Sam, because I was like, it looked like Star Wars dinner theater at first.
Yeah.
Right.
There is a combination of, and people say, how do you explain this? One of the things that blew my mind, and it's what you see in those videos, especially for the epic finale, which, by the way, you can't change the finale, but the way that you get there can go 1,000 different directions, right? You could end up with the Jedi trainer sitting in a room trying to move, use the Force to move things around. Or you could end up in a secret meeting with Rey trying to figure out how to sabotage things. Or you can end up in a meeting with the Lieutenant or the First Order. That's all stuff that happens, all based on the data, the Play Parks app, and things that you've communicated and things you ask the droid that's in the room. It's D309, who understands the history. You could say, D3, hey, I want to help the Resistance. Who do I talk to? And the droid in your room says, ask. And it kind of, it's funny because it's just a vid screen that you're looking at, but they kind of look around and go, you need to ask the captain about that. And that's all they say. And then if you approach the captain will pull you aside and say, okay, come here. Talk to this person or this person. Because remember, I mentioned the First Order, this thing lands and the Resistance shows up every place it lands. Why is that? What's going on this ship? Well, the captain might have something to do with that, is part of the whole experience and figuring it out.
Wow.
I think they should hire you as like a tour guide.
I would love to be a tour guide on that thing. There's so many things to see, but there is no spa. Here's what else I got out of it. I was exhausted after that 4 hours because my fandom kicked in and I was all over this thing looking for things. And then you start to dig into the backstory. I interviewed, funny as heck, one of the interviews at Sam Sissy Diary, I interviewed Matt Martin, and I basically showed him this. Okay. And I'm like, hey, Matt, have you seen this? And he picks it up and he goes, oh my gosh, it's the first time I've seen it in print. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, well, I've only seen it digital copy. And I go, did you work on it? And he flips through the thing and he goes, that's my name right there.
Yeah. That's fun.
Like, what? Cool. And he talked about the backstory. So they filled in. Have you heard? I'm sure you guys have heard the big part of the backstory here, which is the Halcyon's been there the whole time, right? So immediately after Return of the Jedi, when we know that they're in the Ewok village celebrating, and Leia and Han are there, and Luke's there, and Luke goes his way. Well, Princess Leia and Han Solo celebrate their honeymoon aboard the Halcyon. How about that? It's one of the little connections that they came up with. And she also commissioned a painting, which is hanging in the atrium, which I didn't know this story until I got off the boat and got off the ship. But that's what it feels like. You get on the ship.
I want to specifically ask to not stay in that room.
They never said what room. That was never mentioned. It was just that they were on that ship.
Wow.
What is the comic book? Can you show it to us again that you're looking at?
So the series is called the Halcyon Legacy.
Okay.
And this is a 5-book series. And the second book in the series, if you're familiar with Star Wars canon, that's and that is also Zam Wesell. That's Zam Wesell that's standing in the middle of that thing too. So they're in the next one.
I like being the Wookiee with the lightsaber on the cover.
Yeah. He is Bara from the Old Republic. And there is some information about him. So this goes back to the days of the Old Republic. Remember, the Old Republic is 300 years before now, but this ship's been around for 275. Which, by the way, the Halcyon has sister ships. Of course, right?
Yeah. Right. Wow. There's a lot of information to absorb. I saw
and we already talked for over an hour, and I could just keep going, but I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I saw people vlogging from the actual first voyage after the media event, and Len Testa from Drawing Plans got back to his room, and he was exhausted. Like, he was literally like, I'm tired, and he needed a break. I think they said they were going for like 8.5 hours. So this is something that you're really going to be experiencing.
You want to be, you can go as all in as you want or not. And I know Len went all in on everything that he did. Got very little sleep, but that's okay. I mean, you're playing Star Wars. And that's what one of the Imagineers told me. We're giving you the ability to play Star Wars for 2 days, to throw everything out of the window, disconnect from reality. It's just like when you were a kid. When I had my figures and I was playing with the figures.
Exactly.
They asked me if I still had the guns, and I have some of the guns, not all of them. You get to play those and be immersed, and you're a kid, and that's what you get to do here. And that's what it's all about and what they're trying.
That's the opportunity that you get. So I mean, that's something that for the people that really want to be involved in this,
Well, as soon as you say like getting on the floor, getting on the carpet, and just smashing your action figures together, it's like that. I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. And you got Skipper J. You got your backstory?
You know what?
You need one.
I do. I look like a humble, just a humble merchant from Bespin, but I am an arms dealer for the Resistance.
Oh, nice. From Bespin. I like that. You guys got Kim and David. Have you thought anything through?
I have not.
I would definitely be a smuggler.
You're going to be a smuggler? All right.
Yeah, definitely be a smuggler.
I'd probably just be a lounge singer. And,
so you.
I'd be a lounge singer, and just at the bar when everybody goes to about 2 and stuff. I'll just hang out at the bar for the.
You're Sonny Eclipse.
Yeah, I'm Sonny Eclipse.
Sonny. Well, there were some times when the Bill Murray Star Wars jumped into my mind.
I love
Star Wars. That was
exactly.
I went down so I was born on Alderaan, but we moved when I was younger. Good thing, right? Because Alderaan gets blown up. We ended up on Cloud City. My dad was running missions for Lando. So I spent a lot of time there. And when the Empire came in, we've been running from the Bucketheads ever since, which immediately put me on the side of, all right, he's not with the First Order. So
that's right. It does sound really cool, Lily.
That's really fun, though. Now I'm going to have to really get my story together.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm really going to get my story together.
And your outfit goes with it. So I saw a lot of cool, cosplay going on.
There's a lot of that going on. Yes. Yeah. And it's encouraged.
Right.
And they'll sell you stuff in the gift shop if you didn't bring any.
I could see myself spending like $500 easily because I'd get so excited about everything and be like, I want to be this, and they have the outfit.
What happens if someone shows up in a Star Trek uniform?
That's a great question.
So I did see from the media event, they locked stormtroopers up in a room. They'll probably do that to you.
In the brig. There's a brig, which the backstory on the brig is for a little while, the Halcyon was confiscated by the Empire. And the Empire used it as a retreat for their officers. So they'd send their officers on retreats for good work. And they added the brig at that point because they needed a gel then. But yes, or you might find Chewie in there and you got to bust him out. There's a lot of different things. Or you can stick the stormtroopers in there.
Nice.
I want to help
Mary says 500 if you're lucky. That's true.
What is going on with Womp Rat Radio? Are you still?
Yeah, well, it's happening every few weeks. In fact, we're going to go live again this Thursday. We need to wrap up the Book of Boba Fett. We never talked about the last installment. We talked about all of the ones before
I've got
that.
Man, I haven't been on, I haven't listened to it in a while.
Yeah, it hasn't been as well. Life kind of gets in the way, You guys know that from doing this. Things happen, but Womp Rat Radio is still there. Stan and myself and a couple other guys, and we're talking Star Wars all the time, just Star Wars. And there's so much to talk about right now. Yeah. And the Halcyon just plugs right in. But one of the things I want to talk about there is how does Disney kind of capitalize on what's happening with Disney Plus and all of these different series that they have? Because if you think about it, and I'm going to throw the idea out here in your head, because it's Jon Favreau that's the executive producer behind all this. It's almost like he's setting up the Avengers of the Star Wars universe.
Right.
Think about it for a second.
Right.
You got Grogu. You got the ending scene of the Book of Boba Fett with Cad Vamp being inside the Bacca tank. There's just so much happening in that world.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah,
Ahsoka series coming, Obi-Wan series coming.
Well, right.
Bad Batch season 2.
Darth Vader series, so there's so much time that we didn't get to see, from the movies that you can give me any character and we can have a series on them. Right? So when do we get to see those series? And
and Obi-Wan starts May the 25th.
Right.
This is that golden age of Star Wars that if you told me as a kid was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much to see, so much to do.
Boom. Awesome, that happened to me on board a couple times too.
Right. So your YouTube channel is Sam's Disney Diary, and
that's
you just mentioned. You're also part of Womp Rat Radio, right?
That is right.
And
it's a lot of fun. It's really good.
We look forward to seeing that because we watched Mandalorian, and that was great. And so Book of Boba Fett as well. And so yeah,
Book of Boba Fett / Mandalorian 2.5. Is that
right? Yeah. Grogu returns. But yeah, I mean, everybody, please check out Sam's Disney Diary on YouTube. And I hear our son yelling upstairs. He's
sorry.
He's so crazy. Yeah, he's so loud.
I just want to. Question's a good one, right? Because remember, I wonder if there is a cargo hold somewhere, like Chewie and the Han had.
Yeah,
that's Donald is asking, can you be a stowaway? Yeah. Please don't forget to check out dvc-rental.com. Best way to get in touch with them about our deal of the week is scott@dvc-rental.com for that Saratoga Springs, July 1st through July 7th stay. And I will share that in the group after the show so people can get another look at it. Also, our friends on D-Magic World, please tune in and check out dmagicworld.com. And you'll also get to hear little snippets of this show here on Disney Night Live with Sam, in the future. So, yeah.
I got it. I'm going to go with Slave Leia to the Halcyon. There we go.
Oh, boy.
I might just.
It's interesting.
Yeah. I know when you start to think about what you could dress up as and stuff. I walk in as like a Gamorrean guard or something, and like
I really want.
Yeah. There's so many ways to go. I tried to do the timeline, but it doesn't really matter. I mean,
right?
Jay, just so you know, like Sam does the best timelines I've ever seen. If you,
I should have had one.
If you are Star Wars timeline impaired, like I took pictures of it when he did it for the Mandalorian. It helped me so much.
I want to see it. Yeah.
No, it's great. I mean, he does a lot of that on Womp Radio, and then we had him on shortly after that because my mind was blown. Because
that's when you discover Tip Yip Chicken, right?
Well, yeah. When we went to the first time we got to see Becky. Galaxy's Edge, Sam, was last July actually because of because we had missed we had just missed the opening of it. And then because of COVID, we were there in July right before they opened in August, and then COVID happened. So we just experienced it last July.
Boy, that's like the punchline of a lot of stories now. Then COVID.
And then COVID, So.
And then COVID.
And again, everybody, please check out Sam's Disney Diary. It's not diaries, it's Sam's Disney Diary on YouTube. And when the Womp Rat Radio comes out, also that. And check out Now That's Disney on Facebook, please, if you can.
Right.
And we are also on YouTube, the Disney Night Live, and Instagram as well. So thanks, everybody.
Go watch us on YouTube and give us a big thumbs up.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I'm looking for the 45th subscriber. It's very exciting. We're growing very slowly, but I check every day.
There you go. That's cool.
Yeah. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And thanks, Sam, for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Sam.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I'm always here to talk Star Wars, man.
Thank you. We love it. Thanks, everyone.
Yes, definitely.
Congaloosh.
Congaloosh. Let me see our outro. Here we go.